This is the AEW Dynamite October 25, 2023 full show results video which takes place at Liacouris Center in Philadelphia. The show opens with Renee Paquette backstage with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and he takes a call from Adam Cole, who has finally gotten surgery, but before Adam can answer, Roderick Strong and the Kingdom roll up yelling for Adam. Roddy says he's been thinking and let's pretend that Max isn't behind the devil mask, and for the sake of their mutual friend Adam, he'll help him with Bullet Club Gold. MJF shoves his wheelchair away and cuts a promo on Juice Robinson, telling him he wants to make him feel small. That's great. Well, tonight he's got a bullet with his name on it and he is not going to miss. Then we saw a match between Rock Hard Juice Robinson versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman for the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and the result of this match was Maxwell Jacob Friedman defeated Juice Robinson by pinfall with Heatseeker, retaining the AEW Dynamite Diamond Ring. Post-match the Ass Boys beat MJF down, but the Kingdom run down to make the save. They brawl with the guns and get dumped to the floor just as Switchblade returns to the ring, and Ass Boys pick Max up, and he spits in Jay's face, and the Acclaimed make the save. Bullet Club Gold ran away, and Colton Gunn challenged MJF for the ROH World Tag Team Championship at Full Gear, and Max tells him if he wants a shot at the tag titles, he's got one, and he'll see Jay White at Full Gear for sure, but he won't wait that long to get hands on his dollar store Jack Sparrow looking ass, because next week he's taking them up on their Atomicos match, and when he wins, he's taking the title belt back. Roderick Strong screams Max's name at him and asks if he's going to pick them to team against the Bang Bang Gang, and MJF tells Mid-Mike, Mid-Matt, and Roddy the Simp Strong to go roll off a cliff. Max Caster asks if that means MJF is going to pick them, and Friedman tells Caster to listen very carefully. He's never liked him and he's not going to tag with him if he was on fire, and Platinum Max was the only way to put it out. He doesn't care what they think, and Caster asks if he's saying there's a chance. Anthony Bowens counters by pointing out that everyone loves the Acclaimed, and Caster asks for one favor before they leave Philadelphia tonight, and asks him to scissors, and MJF puts his fingers up before gently grabbing Caster's hand and closing his scissors. Friedman leaves and Kenny Omega meets him on the stage and says he seems to have a lot going on, so he's cutting straight to brass tacks, and he has something Omega wants, but so does Kenny for him. Kenny wants the belt and he wants the right to defend his streak, and if Max is better than him and he knows it, he'll do it by golly gosh, and MJF books a title match for Saturday. They shake hands and Max does his catchphrase, and Kenny pats him on the shoulder and says, 3 days bitch. Back from the commercial, we get a Wardlow vignette where he talks about sitting at home watching Maxwell Jacob Friedman become the name and face of the company and how bad that felt and how he's going to take everything from him. Then we saw a match between Beaver Boys, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, versus Hook and Rob Van Dam, and the result of this match was Hook and Rob Van Dam won the match by submission with Red Rum from Hook on John Silver. RJ City is backstage to introduce a new Tony Storm film to us, but she interrupts and shushes him, and we go to break as Hold That Butler. Back from the commercial, Tony Schiavone is in the ring and on the mic and introduces Darby Allin and Sting says he's glad to be here and he wants to thank two people he forgot last week, and because there's so much history for him in this town, he wants to thank Philadelphia. He also wants to thank Darby, by far the best partner he's ever had, and he addresses crowd's reaction to that and says Allen's the man, and then Schiavone says 35 years ago Sting put pro wrestling on the map on TBS, elevated him to the icon he is now, and you've heard all week that Tony Khan has a very special gift for Sting, and we're gonna reveal that gift right now. The Nature Boy Ric Flair is here, and Flair comes to the ring and says 35 years ago he and Sting made history on TBS at the first Clash of Champions, opposite WrestleMania, and when he inducted Sting into the Hall of Fame, going 55 minutes is hard, but Sting never took a deep breath and lived up to his potential, and he's not only one of the greatest ever, but damn it, he's probably the nicest guy he's ever known. Enter Christian Cage, flanked by Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne as usual, and he gets on the mic and says Tony Khan is a billionaire and this is the gift he gives Sting? A suit, some gold chains, and a black liver? Great gift. He says it's impressive the way Flair is moving, not like Weekend at Bernie's at all. Relax, relax. He knows Ric Flair isn't dead, and he also knows there's no God, because if there was, he would have died 20 years ago. There are 3 of them and there are 3 in the ring, even though Rick is only one super kick away from turning into dust, and he wants a trios match at Full Gear, but it won't be a celebration, it'll be a funeral, and he demands to have his music hit, but production doesn't cooperate. Sting tells him to hold on and does a big sneeze and says he's allergic to jackasses, and he and Darby will find a partner, and they accept his challenge. We get footage from earlier of Renee Paquette interviewing Chris Jericho, and he says Powerhouse Will Hobbs destroyed him and he can't ever remember eating a beatdown like that. His ribs are still hurting, but what's hurting the most is probably his ego. Don Callis has a whole family and there are lots of guys in that family with lots of friends, and Chris Jericho has lots of friends, and some of those friends are even bigger than Hobbs. Then we saw a match between Brothers A and Hardy Boys vs Hung Bucks for the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Championship, and the result of this match was Hung Bucks won the match by pinfall with BTE Trigger on Brothers A, retaining the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Championship. Post-match, Prince Nana appears on the Tron at Adam Page's house, and he opens the door for Shane Strickland, and Hangman understandably freaks out and runs to the back as Swerve talks about how his family owes him something for taking his opportunity away. He picks up an electronic children's picture book briefly before grabbing the camera and heading deeper into the house over Nana's objections. He brings the camera to a crib and says Page took something from him, so now he owes him a debt, and since he's not here, is Hangman Jr. gonna pay the debt? He will, but not today. Today Swerve is just gonna leave a t-shirt as a promise that he will collect on his debt. Back from the commercial, Renee Paquette interviews Adam Copeland about the Christian Cage segment tonight, and he says he still won't fight Christian because their friendship is more important than anything in this business. Darby Allin and Sting roll up and Allin makes an impassioned plea for Copeland to team with them and kill or be killed, and Adam says he respects Darby and Sting says he can't believe they're having this conversation. He's had the blinders on, he kept teaming with Lex Luger, but he learned from Ric Flair how to see through guys like Christian, and Copeland needs to open his eyes before it's too late. Sting shakes him bodily and says to listen before it's too late, and they go way back and he shouldn't mess it up now. The next match happened between Hikaru Shida vs Ruby Soho for the AEW Women's World Championship, and the result of this match was Hikaru Shida defeated Ruby Soho by pinfall when Ruby hit Destination Unknown, but Hikaru kicked out, and then Ruby reversed into a victory roll but goes face first into the exposed turnbuckle. And Shida takes advantage and hits Katana finishing move, retaining the AEW Women's World Championship. Post-match, everything goes black and white as Toni Storm comes out to the stage with her butler in tow, as Shida looks on in confusion. Renee Paquette is backstage in the trainer's room with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and he starts talking about the emotion ahead of his title match on Saturday when Samoa Joe rolls up clapping. He says Max has a severe lack of friendship and he has an offer, he'll be his friend. MJF accepts and Joe demands a rematch but says he doesn't need to answer now. In the main event of the show, we saw a tag team match between Chaos, Kazuchika Okada and Orange Cassidy versus Team Uppercut, American Dragon Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli, and the result of this match was Team Uppercut won the match by pinfall with Swiss Death from Claudio Castagnoli on Orange Cassidy. Post-match, Danielson is clutching his mouth or cheek area and the ringside doctor is checking on him as all of Blackpool Combat Club circle his pal. Claudio gets back in the ring to confront Okada, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta, and Hook joins him, Moxley up on the apron, and we're informed that Claudio will challenge Orange for the International Championship next week, and Bryan Danielson just about sits up and joins the stare down as we go off the air.